performance income. Okay, so again, I know we've been introducing our staff. So for the classification and pay section, I do have myself. I also have Christian Clark, who's the senior HR analyst. Valerie Miz, who's the HR analyst. You guys probably know her as Valerie Monica, but it's Valerie Miz now. And there's also Rihanna Bahi, who's the senior HR technician. And then, of course, the support services section, I do have them listed here as I oversee these sections. There's Garrett Sosi, who's the HR generalist, Juanilia Vicente, Kendra Badoli, and Yang Jones, who are the senior HR techs. Okay, so we'll go to classification and pay. So what our section does is we administer the performance management program, which also, of course, we review and maintain employee performance appraisals, which also ties into the review of step increases and merit pay bonuses. And then we also schedule meetings for the review and approval or disapproval by the step increase review board committee. And then, of course, we do have procedures available on our website. We have the employee performance appraisal procedures, the performance step increase procedures, and the merit pay bonus procedures as well. So if you need a refresher, we do have those on our website, or if you're not familiar, go ahead and go to our website and review those procedures. So what is performance management? Performance management is a process of communication between supervisors and employees, and that's geared towards, again, the performance. So that involves goal setting, defining clear expectations, providing feedback, regular conversations and check-ins, aligning individual work with the organization's goals and objectives. It also requires planning, identifying training and opportunities to improve the work performance and also for employee growth. Of course, this does involve monitoring what the employee does, with their different duties and tasks. Are they meeting the objectives or a quota if that's what's needed? If they have a case management, are they reviewing, keeping on top of the deadlines and so forth, turnaround times, review times. So a lot of that does fall under monitoring. There's also developing performance to improve results and promote employee growth. So again, with performance management, it is a lot of communication, but it all starts with the supervisor of, making sure that they are defining clear expectations, what they're expecting the employee to do. That also plays into the roles and responsibilities of the position that they're in. Again, providing regular feedback, check-ins, trying to meet one-on-one to address any issues and concerns. So that would be the main part, again, is providing feedback, letting them know what they're doing right or how they can improve. A lot of times, we just go on and then till we get our performance appraisal, then our supervisor will say, well, you weren't doing this, you weren't doing that, but it's like, you didn't tell me at any point during the year. So that would be really unfair to put that on an appraisal. So again, with the supervisors, it's just communication, having dialogue with their employee to know what the expectations are of their job and also to meet program objectives. The employees do play an important role with performance standards if they need to be met. Here with DPM, an example is we're always providing statistics on how many PAS are received, how many are processed. We have to break it down to new hires, changes, terminations, and so forth. So that's part of one of our performance standards. So again, that does play a role, especially with the employees, making sure that they're doing their job. So again, going back to responsibilities, there are supervisor responsibilities, which include establishing clear objectives and performance standards. Again, being consistent with the program objectives and also the job description for that employee. evaluating past job performance and setting standards for future performance. So you would, of course, evaluate the past job performance, but also setting standards for the future, meaning that if there's additional duties or there's additional performance standards for the program, that should be included into the future performance. Providing feedback again. There also are employee responsibilities, understanding expectations of the current role, communicate with supervisor if additional resources are needed, and then also providing feedback. Again, it does come from the supervisor. However, the employee also needs to be communicating that and also providing, information to their job duties. Do they need additional help? Do they need additional training? That's something that they would need to request to their supervisor. And then again, just providing feedback, positive feedback also of saying, no, what you helped me with, this training has really helped me to excel in my job performance. So again, just a lot of communication. So I'm just going to go through some refreshers with the performance management. So the anniversary date that we're still going to use that even in Dayforce. So of course, the anniversary date can be established three different ways. So the first one would be when an employee starts. So if they start today, their anniversary date would be June 17th. So if it's June 17th, then next year would be June 16th would be up to their 1 year annual appraisal. There also is the 90-day introductory. But again, anniversary dates is established when an employee starts. The next one would be October 1st. Now, the October 1st date came from the last the compensation study that was completed back in like 2000 or 2002 when they implemented it. But during that time when they went through the compensation study, that's where the current process for the evaluations, the step increases, and so forth. That's how that process was established, the performance and comp process. So that's where everybody's anniversary date was established with October 1st. And it's just been the same. If you've been employed from that point, then your anniversary date is more than likely October 1st. The date of the last increase. So let's say you did start today, and let's say within 6 months you get a promotion or a reclassification, then that would change your anniversary date. So there's only two scenarios that would change your anniversary date. Again, that's the date of a last increase, which would result from a promotion or reclassification. In those cases, your anniversary date would change. There are situations or different actions where the anniversary date will not change, and that includes transfers, demotion, a general wage adjustment, a COLA, or any other salary adjustments. That will not change the anniversary date. So with the current compensation study and the implementation that was done on October 1st, 2025, although your rate increased, that will not change your anniversary date. Okay, so any GWAs that may be approved in the future, those types of changes will not change your anniversary date. Okay, so of course there are timelines associated with with the performance appraisal and the recommendation forms. So of course the evaluation is first in a process based off of what the rating is on the evaluation would determine if an employee is eligible for a step increase or a merit pay bonus. Again, there are eligibility requirements to these different actions. So an evaluation is due 60 days after the anniversary date. So if your anniversary date was May 11th, the 60 days that would be July 10th, 2026. So you have 60 days from the date, your anniversary date, to get the employee's evaluation completed. And then if you want to complete a recommendation for step increase or merit, that recommendation form is due 90 days after the anniversary date. It gives you an additional 30 days from when the evaluation is is due. So if the anniversary date again was May 11th, the 90th day would be August 11th. So then you would have 90 days to get that in. Timelines will be tracked by Dayforce. We did have it set up to where there are what based again on the 60 days and the 90 days. And when you're going through the performance process to get that submitted, the Dayforce will provide you that date of when that information, the evaluation is due. We are going to be tracking this and monitoring this more closely, ensuring that evaluations are completed. Again, this is due to individuals not receiving a step increase. So currently with our compensation study that was just completed, we did see a lot of individuals that worked for the nation for many, many years, and they were still at step A. And again, that's because of the supervisor not completing evaluations or not submitting recommendations. And we did see a lot that did retire and they were still at step A. So from that point, that's where we want to really emphasize and enforce that these performance evaluations are completed. Because per the policy, it does indicate that they will receive a step increase based off of the performance evaluation. So there are disciplinary actions also in the table of penalties if performance appraisals are not completed. And that's where our upper management, our leadership is really looking at enforcing the appraisals being completed. So hopefully everybody with Dayforce, I'm hoping that everybody can, get that completed for the employees. So the current process, I just want to go over the current process of what we currently have, and this is going to change. Once we go live with the performance appraisal in Dayforce, which will be in July, a notification will be sent out. So the current process is that the supervisor, of course, prepares the performance appraisal form by establishing objectives for the employee based on the organizational goals, but also on the position duties and responsibilities. The supervisor completes the evaluation. From that point, the supervisor would need to meet with the employee to go over the evaluation, giving information on the ratings and, brief explanations of why they came to that rating. The ratings completed, the employee can make comments on the evaluation. There is a comment section on the current paper eval. And then from that point, the supervisor and employee sign the EPAF. Now, I know that we do get a lot of programs coming back or supervisors saying that the individual didn't want to sign the evaluation, but we just have to reiterate that their signature doesn't mean that they're agreeing with the evaluation. It's just acknowledging that the supervisor did review the eval with them. So then the EPF is forwarded to obtain the reviewing official signature. The reviewing official is the supervisor. Once the EPF is completed, the EPF is submitted to DPM. So from that point, we get it, we log it in and we review it and make sure that the dates are correct. So again, this is going to go live in July. We will be sending out notification on when the last paper EPF will be submitted. And Dayforce is all electronic, so there's no paper in Dayforce. So you're not going to be uploading anything like an EPAF form. It's all going to be in the system. And again, I will go through a demo here in a few moments once I complete the PowerPoint. So for Dayforce for performance, this is based off the hierarchy structure. Again, a lot of what's in Dayforce is based off of that, the organizational chart and what's set up with the supervision, who the supervisor is, and the reporting relationships. And then performance will be completed on a monthly basis, which means that they'll be released each month. So if you have an individual that has a anniversary date in July, that's where you'll be able to complete the performance in Dayforce. The notification will be sent out to manager, supervisor during the employee's anniversary date month. A notification will be sent out to the employee as well because now the employee will be completing a self-review. There are revisions to the personnel policies manual that's currently going through the process. Hopefully, we can get that finalized. But in the policy, the revised policy, there's no longer going to be a step increase review board committee. From that point, what will happen is DPM will do all the reviews and the final approval based on the eligibility requirements. Okay. Yes, Brandon, there is a disclaimer on the evaluation. If you look in the back, yes. Thank you, Christian. So going into what's changing, of course, it's going to be an electric process within Dayforce. Forms will no longer be utilized. We're working on that phase out process. Again, notification will be sent out. Employees will now have to complete a self-evaluation. And also the procedures haven't changed yet, but if we need to going through the process, that's an option that we do have. So they'll be completed as needed or revised as needed. Mm. Shelby, I see your question on the step increases. I'm not sure what the rationale is with that, with your department saying that you're not to proceed with step increases. As long as they meet the eligibility requirements and funding's available, then we wouldn't disapprove. I'm not sure again if it's an internal decision, you would need to talk to your supervisor about that. I'm not really sure what it is. You can still submit the paper evaluation until we go live. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the steps. Again, I will do a demonstration on this, but this is the PowerPoint that's currently available under the ERP trainings on our website. So if you want, you can go there and get this information, but this is basically a step-by-step of how to go through the performance eval. And like I said, then I will do a demonstration, sorry. So for the supervisor steps for performance, so if you look at top of my PowerPoint, you'll see that there's supervisor steps and there's also employee steps. So I'm kind of going to just skim through this so that way we can get to the demo. So of course you're going to log into Dayforce as the manager role, and how to get to the performance is you're going to click on the pancake. So this is what we call the pancake or the menu. Again, everybody has different names for this, the hamburger. So here's the menu. So when you click on the menu, you're gonna go to performance. When you get to performance, you're gonna click on reviews. So you are going to see some competencies, but you'll look at the reviews. With the competencies, we are working with Dayforce or Axel to see if we can get. So right now the information is standardized and we're trying to get to where supervisors can enter different objectives based off of their department and the position. So, but for now it's standardized. But you would go to reviews, and then once you get to reviews, you're going to see a list of your employees. Now, with the employees that show up, the employees here it's their month for their anniversary date. So when I did the training, we were in May. So all of these employees had an anniversary date in May, and that's why they're showing up. So if I had other employees that showed up, they had anniversary dates in, let's say, July, they would not appear here. So it would only be for the employees that have a current anniversary date. So let's again, this is just a list of employees who are currently due for performance review. It does give you quite a bit of information. It gives you the employee name, review cycle, the status. So here you're going to see that all of these individuals had to do a self-review. Here it'll show the ratings of the self-review and the manager. Here you can see that it says not rated. Then it gives you the period, which is the appraisal period, the due date. So this is where Dayforce will help you out and tell you on May 25th, this evaluation was due. And this was just a demo. It's just training material. Again, it would be the 60 days from the anniversary date. And it gives you their job assignment, which includes their position title, their position number and location. And then it has the department. I'm sorry, here's the location. Gives you the department number and name, the location, and who the manager is. So that would gives you quite a bit of information. So let's see from here. So in this scenario, I had Valerie Wanika. So what I did was I clicked on her name and it took me to this screen, performance review. And of course, you can see here again, it says non-judicial. Here comes judicial again. So judicial is using the same platform again. So we do have to indicate when we're setting these cycles up to non-judicial. So of course, here's Valerie Wanika, which is now Valerie Mills. So that's the same person. It does show her title, her position number, her rating period, the due date, and then it shows that she hasn't complete a rating, but it also shows that I haven't complete the rating as well. So it does go into the different competencies for part 1, performance, and it talks about job knowledge, and then here it has behaviors. I'll go through that once we get to the demo, because when you click on view more, it's going to be a list of the different behaviors that are associated with the job knowledge. There's also a section here, if you see the little paperclip, you can attach documentation for this rating period. So it could, like if Valerie was doing her self-evaluation, she would be able to click here. Maybe she went to a training within her rating period and she got a certification and that's what she wanted to use, to support why she's giving herself a high rating if that's the case. But if you look down here, you can see that there's Valerie here, and this is grayed out. So, and it's because I'm in my manager role. So here's a little toggle bar or a rating bar, and you would just move this little circle from right to left to do the rating. And again, you'll see more of that in the demo. So from here, again, the screen will show 2 sections, the employee self-review and supervisor's review. So it's always going to give you this side by side for me as a manager to see if she had completed her self-review. If she had completed it, you would see that what rating she gave herself and if there was any comments. So this I would complete again using moving the toggle or the rate on the rating bar. And then, so here, that's what I did to complete the review. I moved the circle and here it'll show up. Every time you move this bar, this number would change. So here I have above average. And then you can leave comments again. You have all these fancy options here that you can use to bold it, to underline it, whatever you want. And then it says Valerie is a great worker and continues to improve and grow in her current role, which is true today. And then once you get to the supervisor, there's like 11 different questions that it's going to ask. But once you get to the bottom, it's going to say, based on your review, is this employee able to perform the work necessary for the position? And you do have to answer. So then you can go, next thing would be to preview, and that's where this will come up. It'll tell you that this is the preview, the rating period, due date once again, and what I gave her as a rating. So again, this will tell you all the information. And then it'll just take you through all the questions again, just to review it. Once you complete the preview and everything is okay, complete, you can click submit. So once you click submit, you're going to get this little dialog box. You are about to submit the review after which it cannot be changed. Do you want to continue? You can click OK, or maybe you're like, oh, I'm not quite ready. Let me cancel. So then it'll take you back to the other screen. But if you do complete OK and submit, then the review is complete and I'll update the status for the employee. So now you see here, once it takes you back to the status screen, the manager review, it would be a 4. So that will show that I completed my rating. But Valerie still needs to complete her self-review. So what now I go into employee steps, and that's for the performance. So again, now I'm logged in as Valerie, and she'll have to go to her self-review. She'll click on her name. And then from here, see, she'll go ahead and start. She won't see my side. She won't see what I rated her as. So when she goes here, she'll just do the same thing I did. Just go back and forth with the rating bar. She can leave her comments, if she just put here, learning the new system. Dayforce has been challenging. Again, we want to keep this professional. I know there's probably some people that may be upset with their supervisor, but we want to keep whatever comments that we put here professional, okay? And then let's say she went through her performance. Let's say she missed one of the questions. She didn't rate herself. You will get an error either for the supervisor or manager. If you miss anything, it will give you an error saying that one or more questions are missing information. Verify that you have added all the required information to the form. So from there, she'll also do a preview. And she'll go down and then she'll do the submit. She'll be able to review. Maybe she put something mean to me here. She's like, oh no, I better go change that, so she would have to go back and delete it. But once she's done and she believes that everything is good and correct, then she'll go ahead and click submit. And then again, this will show up. You are about to submit the review after which it cannot be changed. Do you want to continue? So she'll click OK. So now when she takes her back to the status, it'll show here and it'll finally show her what I rated her. So then she would go to employee signature, which means she could click back on her name. She'll go back in here and then she'll see now that both of the ratings. So now she can see what my rating is and if I left any comments. And then she'll go all the way to the bottom. She'll be able to review all those 11, 12 competencies. And here she'll click the box. She can leave any comments once again, and then she can do the complete review. Okay. So let's say she was in a hurry. She thought she clicked the box or she didn't see it. Then this will error out and tell her that the checkbox needs to be selected next to her signature in order to submit the review. So once the review is complete and the boxes have been checked, it's going to ask her again, are you sure you want to complete this review? So she'll click OK. And when it takes her back to the status page again, it'll show this, that the manager's, now it's the manager's signature. So now I'll go back in and so this is a notification that I will get. Navajo Nation will come from the system admin. Performance review for Valerie Lanika is pending your acknowledgement. So now that's telling me, okay, she did complete her self-review. She signed it. Now it's my turn to go in. So again, I'm going to go back to performance. And here I'll see manager signature. So I'll click on her name. And then I'll just do the same thing. I'll see what she rated herself as. This is the part where, I should have already said like way back. Let's say you went through and completed it, or maybe she completed it and requested to have a meeting. Again, just because you're doing this in the system doesn't mean like just stop communication. Let's say she wanted to have a meeting with me, or I wanted to meet with her. We could do all of that before we do a complete submittal where we can talk about, well, I believe that I deserve this rating because of such and such, or I could tell her, this is where areas you need to improve. So again, having that meeting before you completely submit the eval. So, but here it's already done. what I could do is just go ahead and complete the review. Again, I need to check mark the box. Again, do you want to submit? Yes. And here you'll see the status as completed. And you'll see that the due date is no longer there because it's done. So now her evaluation has been completed. I'll give a system admin to say performance review for Valerie Wanika is successfully completed. So now we'll go into the demo and I'll show you, I know time is going by so fast today, but I'll go ahead and go into the demo and I probably need to have Valerie actually do her self-review. One of my staff needs to do that so they can show you that. So let me log into Dayforce. Give me a sec. Mondo,
Yeah, I'm here.
are you able, Val's gonna help me with the demo. Are you able to give her access?
Yeah, she's on there. Valerie Naz got it.
Oh yeah, Valerie needs to move on.
All right, she's
Okay.
now a host. Yep. Who else?
Okay. Just so she's gonna help me with the demo.
Okay, yeah, she's good to
Okay.
go.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I just want to navigate to again. So as the manager, what I'll be able to see is I would have to go to the hamburger, like I have indicated in my PowerPoint, and then go to performance, and then see here is a list of my staff. So if I go to reviews, here you'll see that I have 4 that are currently pending and they're in self-review, and the review cycle, the review period is June. So with that, I can see that Val needs to complete her self-review, but I could also complete the evaluation on my part. But for best practice, what we're recommending is that the employee complete their self-review first. And that will give again, that would leave the door open for communication once the supervisor sees what the employee rates themselves at. So for that, I'll go ahead and have Valerie complete her self-review, but this is how the reviews would look, and this is what you would see. So again, let's say I have maybe 3 other staff and they weren't showing here, and that's because their anniversary dates are in different months. So let's say they were in July. So coming July, then they would show here to show that I had to complete their evaluation. So don't freak out if all your staff are not showing up. It's just the individuals that have an evaluation that is currently due. Okay. So what we'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and let Valerie take over from here and show her screen, and then she'll walk us through completing a self-review, employee self-review. Go ahead, Val, take it away. Okay, so Valerie is, I'll be talking while she's going through the screen. So we'll go ahead and have her log in. She is in the test environment. So Val, if you can log in. Val, your company ID. Navajo Nation. Hmm? Sorry. I think she's nervous. Okay, so while we're getting that situated, let me see if we have any. It looks like everybody answered my questions. Okay, so I see that. So the ratings are automatically calculated by Dayforce. So whatever rating you put in, it'll automatically calculate the overall rating. So in this one, does this mean if we have pending approved step increases, we can proceed to update the compensation? If the step increases haven't been approved, then you would have to wait until you get the final approval. But what DPM has been doing is dual entry. So if step increases have been approved, then we've been already updating them in the legacy system and in Dayforce. But I guess that's for general fund. Externally funded is also the same once the budgets were completed. So we would probably have to look at that as part of our transition. But if it's still pending, you would have to wait for final approval because we would have to verify that they meet the eligibility requirements. Okay. Clarinda, will the update for the comp study rates be updated before payroll? Yes, I know that's a common question we've been getting from the trainings. DPM, we are working on getting those updated for resulting from the compensation study. So we are working with Axel to get all of that information updated before they do the payroll run in Dayforce. So we are working on that, Clarinda. Let's see, I have two staff, but when I go to review, nobody shows up. Okay, Ray, so it would just depend when their anniversary date is, but currently we haven't gone live with this, so that information may not show up until July. But again, that does depend in which month their anniversary date is. So if their anniversary date is not until, let's say, August, they won't show up until August under the reviews, okay? Okay, thanks, Christian. So it looks like we had to reset her password, so it looks like she's logging in now. Well, no, we only have 10 minutes left. Oh yeah, Christian did answer that. Thank you, Christian. Thank you for my team for answering questions. Okay, so it looks like Valerie's logging in now. And what she's going to do is go ahead and go to her performance. So she will go through the same process by going to the navigation, going to performance. And then this is where she can see competencies. And from here, she's going to go to reviews. So once she does the review, she is going to show the information will show up. So here she does have the first, if you look at the first line, it has 626 performance review, has the rating period, and then it has self-review. So she's going to go ahead and click on that review cycle. And this is where you're going to see information on the top again, where it has Valerie Wanika, but it should be Nez. I guess we haven't updated her information and test. So here again, the rating period, and you see all the information. So right here, she's on the toggle. So what she'll do is just go ahead and move that toggle on the rating bar and just give herself a self review. She can put whatever she thinks for this job knowledge. There's also the behaviors. Val, can you really quick go to view more on the right-hand side? Yeah, almost there. On the, yeah, yeah. So here's the drop down of the job knowledge, the behavior. So here it will give detailed information as you go through each question. Demonstrates knowledge, skill in using the HRIS for all purposes, understands and applies physically sound budgetary principles, and it goes on and on. So again, these are just some of the bullet points for this job knowledge. It could be different for the different departments. Again, we are working with Dayforce to see how we can get that more specific for the departments. But right now, this is standard language. And again, this is just the test site. So we did add that HRIS for our staff. So that's where you could get that information. And from here, she'll complete her rating. And then she'll just, if she wants to leave a comment, she can leave a comment. If not, she doesn't need to, but you see all the fancy features on top where you can leave comments, you can even put pictures in. So yeah, but we'll go ahead and go to the next one. The accomplishment of objectives. Again, you can do the view more, but here she'll just go ahead and complete her rating again. And then she'll go down. Again, if there's going to be 12 different competencies that she'll have to go through and rate herself in each one of them. And then, like I said, if she wants to, like, what does this mean? She can look, do the drop down and complete that or review that information. And then she's going to productivity. And then initiative and creativity. And then interpersonal relations. We are also working with Axel and Dayforce as well. There is a button in the supervisor, which I'll show you when I'm completing the eval, where it can, where there's an option for not applicable. So let's say she's going to the next one, which is the supervisory skills, and she doesn't have, that responsibility. She doesn't oversee anybody. We're working on getting that box available where if she needed to put not applicable, but she could leave a comment and from there, but it would still ask her to complete a rating. So she could just move that to like a 5 and say, yes, I have great supervisory skills. So, but she could move to the next one and then I could read her comment. So we are working on that as well to include that as part of a feature where they can put like it's not applicable to them. So for the dependability, she'll go ahead and do her rating as well. And then professional contributions. Okay, so there's actually 9. So once she finishes this one, you'll see what the comments are at the bottom. So part 2, it says comments based on the appraisal you have made. Please answer the following questions in your own words. So this will have the 2, your overall evaluation rating. This employee is indicated above. How did you come to this eval? If you rated the employee as excellent or unsatisfactory, you must provide detailed information as how you arrive at this rating. So the portion with the unsatisfactory is one that we're really looking at for anybody that gets a rating of 1 or 2. We will require that they be put on a performance improvement plan. And that is also part of Dayforce where you can enter a development plan as well. So here she could just indicate, I think she can just put comment though. Just type comment. And then based on your reviews, this employee able to perform the work necessary, then she would answer. Yes. And then from there, she would go down. Um, are you all the way at the bottom now? Okay, so if you see the options at the bottom as well, there's autosave. It's recommended that you have that on just in case, or you can leave it off, but you can also save this as a draft. You can print it. But once she's done, she'll go to preview. So again, the preview is just, a recap of what she completed and it shows on top the rating. So this would be rated above average. So when she goes down on the preview, she can just see what comments she left, just a recap of what she gave, what rating she gave herself, and then she can click submit. And again, the dialog box will come on. Do you want to continue? Okay. So now here you'll see that it has manager review. So now I'll go ahead and go back to my screen and then it's going to be a kind of a back and forth to show you. So let me go ahead and share my screen again and then we'll go through. Okay, so now I'm back to my performance. And what I'll do from here is I'll just do a refresh. And now Valerie, hers has been changed to manager review and I can see the rating that she gave herself. So I'll just go ahead and click on the name. And again, here it'll have her name, what she rated herself as, and then again, the attachments. If there's anything I wanted to attach, I could click new, browse for file. I could look for a file, or I could just drag and drop into the box. So once it's uploaded, it'll show there. And then from there, I can just close it. And you'll see that now it shows a 1. So now I can see her information, all her ratings. So I could go through, I could leave a comment. Again, you could do all this fancy stuff with it. You have all these options to add a picture, insert an image, you can leave bullets, anything you want to do. So that's basically what has all this fancy stuff. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to complete the rating. So with this, the rating that determines eligibility for a recommendation is the supervisor. So that would be the final rating for the employee. So I could just go down. So let's say, like I had said, if I came to supervisory skills, she put not applicable, but she put that. what I can do is put not applicable on my side to say, okay, she doesn't supervise anybody, and I can put not applicable. Here, you're going to get a message that says review component supervisory skills is excluded from the rating calculation, which means that this is not going to affect the overall rating that I'm giving. I'm sorry, are you guys seeing my screen? Hmm. Oh, okay. So then we go back. Then sorry if that Val says she couldn't see. Okay, so I can't put anything here because it's not applicable. And then from here, I'm just gonna go continue on the early. And then here I could just put Val. So I can leave that and then I'll put answer this question and do yes. And then I can preview. And here, that's where I'll see the sites. And that's where I'll see review period, the due date, and then again, the overall rating by me. And then again, just a side by side, a preview and so forth. So this is where I'll be able to see that. Then I can do submit. And here now you'll see that it says employee signature. So then it would have to go back to Val. She will get notification that I completed it. So I'm gonna have her do her signature very quickly. Val, can you go ahead and share your screen again? Now go ahead and click refresh. Just right there. Yeah. Now it's updated to employee signature. So go ahead and click on the review cycle. And this is where she'll be able again to see another side by side. She can look and see that I attached something, but we'll just go ahead and go down. She's just reviewing. And this is where she'll see the signature box. She'll click on the and understand that my signature only indicates that I've read and discussed this part of my performance review with my supervisor. It does not necessarily mean that I agree with the evaluation contents, and I may attach additional written comments if desired. So she can, this is her last chance to leave a comment if she wants to. If not, she can click complete review. And then, are you sure? She'll click OK. I'll take her back. Now it says manager signature. So Val, go ahead and stop sharing the screen, then let me hurry and go into mine. Okay, so now if I do a refresh, you'll see here that it still has employee signature. If I do a refresh, it will show manager signature. Okay. So I'm gonna go to Valerie Juanita. So then again, a side by side, I can look and see. And then you're just going to review again. So it does give you several options or chances for review, the side by side and so forth. So here, when I get here, I'll just click the box, leave any comments, complete review. Okay. And now you'll see that the performance has been completed. So again, this would send me notification as well of when she completed her acknowledgement. Albert, it says you have a staff whose EPFE completed in January 26th when it was due. She's showing up in the reviews when we go live. No, if you already completed her evaluation, we have that on file. You wouldn't need to complete it again. I believe once we go live, it should reset to all the current information. Okay. So here I do have the first notification that Valerie completed the self-review for 6/26. So then that would tell me I needed to go back in and complete my portion. It looks like the other notification hasn't come in yet, which will tell me that the evaluation has been completed. So you will get notifications here. So that hasn't come through. Again, it does take Dayforce a minute to get that updated or to send that out. So, but this is how it would show once it's completed. It'll show the self-review, manager review, the ratings, and then the due date's gone. And here it'll give you a little bar of what the ratings were and who the reviewer was. So now it's been completed. So that's how you would do a performance review in Dayforce. Again, time is going by fast. So, but this material is already on our website under the ERP training. So again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. I do have my classification team who will be able to assist. And again, thank you for attending our training. I hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. And I'll go ahead and let Ramondo take over. Again, Mildred, as I indicated, I did say that the objectives or the competencies are standardized right now. We are working with Axel and Dayforce to get to allow managers to add any additional competencies that are needed as what you had listed. Okay.